Hey Eurovision fans, it's Tom Comminity from Shanghai, back for another Eurovision reaction video. Today I'm going to be going through the songs I think could win Eurovision 2022. I'm going to tell you who's in contention and I am going to tell you who I think is going to end up winning. So let's kiki. As always, you can use the timestamps in the time bar. I'll also leave them in the description as well if you want to skip to me speaking about one of these 6 countries. So with this video, I am basing it off of all rehearsals I've seen of rehearsals for all 40 countries. Obviously, there's only 25 in the final. I saw the dress rehearsal last night from start to finish, so I'm able to also count for how the songs feel within the show, what comes before and after them, and how that accentuates some of them. Plus, I'm going to be putting in my previous Eurovision knowledge just from watching the show and obviously running this channel for 4 years. But I'm not saying that this is an absolute definite prediction. I can't read the minds of 200 million people and how they'll react to certain shows. I can just speculate, and there's always that degree of unpredictability, which I love about the Eurovision. I think if it was too predictable, it would actually be less entertaining. I love the shock surprise results. Just also to explain why I've got this chart behind me, I'm going to say how I think all of them are going to do in the televotes. The more televote points you get, the higher you are, and the more jury points I think the country will get, the more out to the side. So a country that gets high televote and jury will be up here. A country that gets low televote and low jury will be down here. But I'm not going to talk about them because they're not going to win if they're down in this corner. You want to be up here if possible. That's the people who I think are going to do well. Okay, let's talk about the favorites first, and that is Ukraine. Now, this is a really controversial subject. I'm going to give you all my opinions about it, don't worry. My first opinion is people seem to get very riled up by the possibility that this can win because it's going to get a large solidarity vote. The first response I have to that is it hasn't happened yet. People seem to be getting so angry about something that hasn't even happened, which seems a little bit silly. If it doesn't happen, those people will just end up looking very bitter for no particular reason. We don't know that this is actually going to happen. People are guessing that they're going to have a large televote based on what the bookies are doing. Keep in mind the bookies are largely based in the UK, Betfair, William Hill. I'm not going to go through all the betting names, but a lot of the bookmakers based in the UK, and the UK definitely has a reputation for overemphasizing the political aspect of the contest to a ridiculous degree. Currently, they have a 60% winning chance if you accumulate all of the bookies together. I think that is largely exaggerated. I definitely think they're the favorites. 60% is just too much. So that is something you need to keep in mind. Also, we've seen before that you can win the televote by quite a lot and still not win. Duncan Lawrence didn't win the televote. Kaino from Norway won the televote that year. He came second in the televote and third in the jury. You don't even have to win either of them to win. Same with Ukraine in 2016. She didn't win either. Russia won the televote that year by quite a large distance and still didn't win because their jury vote was quite low. And that's one thing I don't think people are considering, is that the jury vote for Ukraine, I don't think is going to be particularly high. I think in terms of a jury song, I think this is just about top 10, but I definitely don't think it's going to be high up in the jury. It could be, who knows, but again, I would be quite surprised. This is not the typical kind of jury song that the jury go for, which is very more songs that emphasize a bit more on vocals, that often tend to favor ballads a little bit more. So yeah, this doesn't scream jury. If this does really bad in the jury, I think even a gigantic televote might not be enough to bring this up, where some countries who are strong on both of them are going to have a huge advantage if they're picking up 100, 200 extra points in the jury. That could really make a large effect. I don't want to hold this for the whole thing, so I'm going to place it now. I think their televote is probably going to be, I think people agree, they're going to win the televote. Jury-wise though, I'm going to put them around here. Okay, so that's the first aspect. Second aspect is, if people want to vote for Ukraine because they're currently being absolutely ravaged by a war, I think that is a very legitimate reason to vote for someone. Why is that any less of a reason than if you think one of the artist is sexy? How many people voted for Amir in 2016 because they thought he was very handsome? Or if people vote for each other because of national reasons, like Greece voting for Cyprus every year and vice versa, the Nordics voting for each other because they share musical taste. Who gets to decide what's a legitimate reason to vote for someone? If people feel that they feel incredibly touched and moved by the situation in Ukraine, and actually Kalisz Orchestra are bringing something that's very culturally rich. I think if Kalisz Orchestra were bringing something that was very soporific or kind of a little bit dead inside, I don't know if there would be this giant movement. They need credit for the fact this already would have done well in the televote anyway. I really think it would have been popular in the same way that I think Moldova is going to be popular with the televote this year. Another point is, it's not like we've always had winners who have always won out of pure and utter love from the European population. 2011, let's be real, that was a really shady result, running scared by Azerbaijan. Come on, the stuff happened there. It's quite obvious. 2008, Dimitri Bilan winning with Believe. That song, I've never met a single person who has that song in their top 50. I've never met anyone who's had it as their number one song. I've never heard anyone talk about it. I've never heard it played in a Euroclub. Literally, it's like the song doesn't exist. You would not know it's a winner unless you like check the results. So look, to think that there are no other factors that can influence a winner outside of the song and its staging is a little bit silly. I'm not saying the whole thing is political, absolutely not. The majority of the time, the winning song is really, really good quality. But to say that there's never been other influences is a bit ridiculous. And my final point is, whatever happens, we can't change the result. It happens, it happens. Moaning about it, being bitter, being bitchy, it's not going to change anything. Whoever wins, whichever of these countries, assuming it's one of these, it could be a shock person, which I think would be absolutely hilarious. And also, I think if there is a shock winner, that person, whoever bets on that person, is going to be incredibly rich, because all the odds for the lower countries are very, very high right now. No matter who wins, we just get behind them and congratulate them. We can't change the results. It's really pointless and negative being bitter, and it puts a sour taste on the competition if we just end up dissing on the winner, because we can't really take joy in this competition that's just happened if we're arguing and fighting and being all negative about it. So if Ukraine win, I will 100% support them. I hope this gives like a teeny tiny bit of a respite from the absolute horrors that they're going through right now. Obviously, I don't think winning Eurovision solves any of their problems, but hopefully it can give like a small distraction to the people who are still in Ukraine, and also the people who have been forced to leave Ukraine. That is pretty much everything I have to say about Ukraine. I keep getting asked about it so much. On a similar note to Ukraine, let's talk about the UK now. UK is definitely in it. I've been really ragging on. The narrative about this needs to be how brilliant it is that the UK is doing better. I've already seen people saying, oh, it'll be so disappointing if they come second. No, it won't. They came last in the last two editions, 21 and 19. They got 0 points last year. They suck at Eurovision since forever. Since 2011, when they came 10th with Blue, they really have largely sucked. You know, Lucy Jones was good, but generally it's been absolute flopalicious from the UK. The fact that we're talking about being the top 10, the top 5, the top 3, even being on the left side of the scoreboard is just brilliant. We have to keep the narrative that this is so much better for the UK. It's going to be so fun for people to be watching it and not becoming last and doing shit and getting 0 points. So we just need to keep that the narrative. I don't think the UK is going to win personally. I saw the dress rehearsal. His performance is absolutely and utterly excellent. I still don't think that the song particularly is a winning song. I think the staging massively elevates it and brings it up to a really, really high level. I do think his odds are exaggerated, again, because bookmakers are largely based in the UK. I will be disappointed if this is not top 10. I will be like quite gutted and really upset at what something will have gone wrong. This should do really well with the jury. I think this can win the jury vote, because it's got the vocals, it's got the stage show, feels fun, it's that type of upbeat song that the juries feel okay to vote for. It's just got a lot of like clever ingredients are accommodating to jury requirements. So it's really, really cleverly thought out. I just don't think the televote is going to be as big. So that's why I wanted to talk about this after Ukraine, because I'm going to put this in the very large jury, not so large televote section, which is over here. Please keep the narrative about UK improving. That's what it needs to be about. Really happy. Sam Ryder is the best representative that the UK I think has ever had. He is oozing with positivity and love and just acceptance, and he's just brilliant. If you've never seen an interview with him, he lights up the room. He's the most beautiful person. My top 5 favorite representatives from any country in Eurovision ever. He's really changing the dialogue that's been going on in the UK about all this Brexit bullshit, even though the year after Brexit they came 15th, which doesn't even make sense. Great quote from William from Wee Wee Blogs, who's saying, teenage girls in Bulgaria and Romania don't give a fuck about Brexit. They don't even know what it is. So people just need to get over it. It's really silly. I'm going to tell you now who I think are actually the 2 countries who are in it to win it. Like I said, I think the jury's going to cancel this out. I think the televote is going to eliminate this. These 2 countries are, well, let's go to the first one. The first one is Italy. Now, I haven't been critical of this. I just haven't felt the song. When I watched this dress rehearsal, oh my God, this blew my mind. I saw this last Saturday on their first dress rehearsal, and it was such a mess. Oh man, it was a real fucking hot mess. It was like proper flop disaster. They were totally out of sync. They were singing over each other. There were bits where no one was singing because they were so unsynchronized. They were wandering all over the place. It looked totally aimless. But the performance I saw yesterday was, it was just light years better. It was like, they must have been practicing all week. this was so improved. It really was shocking to me. I still don't feel the song to the same degree that other people do, but there's people who are massively moved by this. This is like really emotional for them. It brings them to tears. So I can see the effect that it has on other people. Plus this staging is now winning staging. It wasn't before. It's got this real natural flow, which I could see them trying to have last week and failing. They succeeded yesterday. It feels improvised, and their chemistry is just absolute perfect. They've changed the outfits. Mahmoud's now in white, Blanco's in black. It's really, really great. I can absolutely not really see why this is going to do well. I think this is one that's going to do well in both. I think its jury is going to be a little bit bigger than its televote, which is why I'm going to put it over here. This is 9th in the draw. It is followed by Chanel, who is 10th in the draw. This Italy-Spain combo is unfucking believable. It will blow your socks off. Do not miss it. Do not miss the 9, 10, 11, 12. 11 is Netherlands, 12 is Ukraine. We have 3 of the favorites really back to back. Netherlands in the middle, who is also gorgeous, and I hope she gets top 10. You are not ready for this. I don't know how much of a Eurovision fan you are, but a lot of people who watch my channel will have already seen the Benidorm Fest. This is not the Benidorm Fest. This is like 5 leagues above that. Everything is elevated. The costumes are elevated, the dancers are elevated, the concept, the lighting behind her, the theatrical elements she brings in with the fan. They're really utilizing her kind of stage. I believe she has a lot of theater training. They're really using that with her like dramatic walk-in, and she's got a fan reveal. The dancing is absolutely just electric. Bam, bam, bam. This is gonna absolutely fucking blow your mind. And it's hard. It's been so frustrating for me because people haven't been able to see this, because obviously most people don't get to see the big 5 until the final, whereas any really hyped semi-final songs, people have already seen it, so we can like talk about it together. It's just this year that the big 5, so Italy as well, people haven't seen that. People haven't seen the UK, so I'm having to like try and get across. These songs are really, really, really amazing. You need to be like emotionally prepared to see this. But this, I think Spain are going to win Eurovision. This is absolutely and utterly incredible. I haven't seen anyone who's seen this live who hasn't been absolutely and utterly floored. I can't see how people can watch this and not be just absolutely gobsmacked. Not everybody's going to love it, but I just think a large majority of people are going to absolutely be gooped to the max. It is really spectacular. This is the most amazing performance that I've ever seen at Eurovision. Just the professionalism, the choreography, the styling, the lighting, everything from start to finish is just like spellbinding. I think this is going to get a higher televote than Italy, maybe a couple less jury points. I think this should do well. If the jury mark this down, the jury really needs to be evaluated, because at that point it becomes that it's literally impossible for upbeat songs. We already saw Fuego didn't do particularly well. The jury came 5th, and that may have been one of the reasons it didn't win. If this does well badly with the jury again, they really do need to reevaluate the jury, because it seems like they're over penalizing up-tempo songs. Now, you may have noticed I've left one of the favorites out. This is the 3rd favorite to win, and it is Sweden. Now, I'm just still not feeling this. I don't feel like there's much elevation from the Melfest staging to here. I think it's still a brilliant song. Definitely top 10, most likely top 5. I'm just still not seeing this winning yet. I still don't get it. Even Italy's song, which I also don't get, I can still see how and why it can win. I just don't get it with this. Now, it very much may win. I never fully got Måneskin last year, and obviously they won, so they don't need my approval. But I can only tell you what I feel when I'm watching a show and seeing people react around me, and I just do not feel it with this. I think it's a really classy performance. I love this new kind of more natural, raw feeling from Sweden, trying something that's a little bit different. It's still quite manufactured, but it does feel a little bit fresher. I think this is going to do very well with the jury. I don't know if it's going to do well with the televote, so I'm going to put it a little bit. Wait, that's a high televote. I'm going to put it here. Good with the jury, so this is doing well with the jury, and then so basically these are the people I think are going to win the jury or do highest in the jury, and then winning the televote downwards. In case you can't work out my chart. Sorry for my charts a little bit. I just took it out. I just did it really quickly with a pen. I have lots of videos to edit, and I want to go to bed on time today. You did notice I said 6 countries coming in, and initially this was going to be my dark horse section. Unfortunately, my dark horse was originally 12 in the odds, but they've moved up to 6, so it's not particularly a dark horse anymore. It is just 6 in the odds. But my wildcard person who I think could do a surprise is Serbia. And the reason for that is I think this is going to get a very, very high televote. And it's just got that wildcard element to it because it's so weird and different. And it's very, very late in the running order. It's 25th. And it really does stand out based on what precedes it for just being so different. She would have been anywhere in the draw and she would have stood out because her mood and language and whole performance just has a totally different feel. This has a real performance quality, weirdness and uniqueness that nobody else has, and it really, really makes her stand out. All of her performances have been great. I'm a huge, huge fan of Constructor. She's absolutely fantastic. Really one of my favorite people in Eurovision this year. I do hope this as well. Look, I would love if this came top 10. I would love it even more if it came top 5. I think it's very, very unlikely it would win. But if you said to me, okay, one of these 5 countries hasn't won, who do you think it is? I would go, oh, whoa, that's really weird. Okay, probably Serbia. So that's why I wanted to put them in, just as like someone to maybe keep out. I don't know if this will do well with the jury. I don't really have anything to base it on yet because all I had was a Euro jury, which it didn't do particularly well in. This is going to get maximum points from Montenegro, Croatia, North Macedonia, Slovenia. It should get a lot of points from the Balkans as well. That is not just regional voting. It is because the song has gone really viral in that region. And that's fair enough. If the song's going viral, a lot of people from that area are going to look and say, oh, I remember that song from TikTok or wherever they saw it viral, and they're going to vote for it. So that's fair enough. So I'm going for a high televote, but maybe a little bit less jury. So I'm going to put this around here. Maybe less jury than Ukraine and also less televote points. Okay, so that's how I'm seeing approximately the 6 potential people who could theoretically win Eurovision. I really do need to emphasize that this is a spectacular show, particularly the first half. The first 12 songs is really, I think it's got to go down as the strongest half maybe that first half that we've ever had in Eurovision history. The first 6 songs in particular are totally different and unique, all different feels and color palettes. It's very, very, very impressive, the variety that exists. So don't worry, I've gone into that in full detail in my running order video, which I think I've posted before this, but I don't know. Maybe I posted before, maybe it's coming later. You can check on my channel if you want to find out. Let's take a quick look at the polls that I posted on my channel. So first of all, I asked, of the current 5 favorites to win, who is everybody but Serbia, who do you want to win? And these were the results. A really, really, really big split. The biggest one was from Spain. Now I have to emphasize that I do have some Spanish Eurofans on my channel, but not actually that many, because I have said some controversial things about Spain before and it put me in the bad books. I don't actually have that many Spanish followers, so I don't think that's an inflated vote from who just subscribes to my channel. Obviously you can vote for yourself in this poll if you're from one of these countries, but really interesting that Spain are winning. UK in second with 22. I definitely do have a lot of UK followers, obviously because I am an English language European Eurovision channel. There's Spanish Eurovision channels and Italian ones, etc. Ukraine in third with 20%, Sweden in fourth with 17%, and Italy in fifth with 12%. But that was when the song was a little bit of a... I was quite open about the fact that I thought that the first performance was a real flop, but I really do think that they've made gigantic progress since then. Now, that's what people want to happen. What do people think is going to happen? Let's go from subjective to objective. On my last poll, I said, who do you think will win Eurovision? Not who do you want? So in the second poll, let's look. And again, we can see there's a big difference. Ukraine now is in the lead with 37%. Spain holding on to second still with 24%. So that's really impressive. UK and Sweden joint third with 17%. I think Sweden might just be a teeny tiny bit ahead. And Italy still in last with 5%. So people are really not sure about Italy. I wasn't disparaging about Brividi, but I put it 30th in my rankings. So I think maybe some Brividi fans might have unsubscribed after that. So it could possibly be because of that it doesn't have that high percentage. So that is who I think the 5+1 countries I think could win Eurovision 2022. And also the polls on who you think will win and who you want to win. And no matter wins, let's please all get behind them and just celebrate the competition, because loving the competition is more important than who wins. Okay, and thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in another Eurovision reaction video very soon. Goodbye. Me talking about who's gonna win the motherfucking show.